Today, I want to talk to you about the reality of fake femininity. I'm going to start with some questions. Who does the planning and directing in your marriage? Who takes the initiative? Who wants to go on dates? Who talks about dates? Who plans and organizes anniversary celebrations? How about birthdays? Is it you or him? If it's you, then you're probably also strategizing other outcomes in the marriage. And you're probably focusing on the changes your husband should make because you feel like he's checked out of the relationship more than he's checked into it. I used to think it was me, that I was the reason my husband wasn't intentional after the wedding like he was before, that there must be something wrong with me. It never, ever occurred to me that his disconnection was on purpose, even though the evidence was pointing exactly in that direction. The more passionate I became about having a thriving, healthy relationship, it seemed like the resistance increased, along with more trials and struggles and more fights emerged. It makes no sense, right? How can a woman try so hard to be a better wife, seek out information and resources and people, and still fail at it so badly? I know why now. Because I was focusing in the wrong area of marriage. I was focusing on the role of a wife. But it wasn't just that. When it came to the two people in the marriage, I also gave all my attention to the man instead of me. This is not a problem. It is the problem. The role of a housekeeping wife or a homemaking wife does not change. They're the same in every marriage. Just like the role of a husband, they're both job descriptions, so the house can function like a home for the family, not the one-flesh relationship. You cannot heal or fix a relationship with a man by doing the role of a wife with excellence, aka an excellent wife. As long as you're unhealed and your heart remains in a broke-down state, it's impossible to tell the difference between a husband who's dysfunctional and difficult and a man that's dangerous to you. Until you do your own healing work through Jesus Christ, you'll just continue to think the same way I used to. I thought we were both just really wounded and broken, and that's why our marriage was so full of dysfunction. And that because I was the woman, it was my responsibility to fix the marriage. So I was forever trying to be a more excellent wife. But you know what? It never got better. I remained in that broken, defenseless state because I was trying to do wiffery better instead of focusing on myself. The one who really needed the attention was the female who lived inside the woman that was doing the role of the wife. It was her healing that changed my relationship with God, my relationship with me, and subsequently, the relationship. What's the difference between a wife and a feminine woman? She's the same coin with two opposite sides. A wife serves her family. She's a server. And when you serve for free, that's being a servant. How does she serve? Like, what does she do? She's the housekeeper and the homemaker. She cooks, she cleans, she drives, she prepares, makes appointments for doctors and dentists. She does for her family whatever they need her to do. That's what a servant leader does. She's the CEO of that home. In a very real way, the home belongs to the one who makes it and keeps it. And that's the homemaking wife. The takeaway here is that serving others is not self-care. In order to serve in a healthy capacity, a woman needs to first take care of that other side of the coin. If you'd like a single word to remind yourself of what real femininity is, that word is self-care. That is what it means to embody femininity, self-care. A feminine woman is responsible for filling her own tank first. She has the enormous responsibility to understand, nurture, accept, and be accountable for all the emotions and feelings that God created inside her body. Her estrogen levels are 90%. That means you, sister, 90% of your body is chocked full of feelings. And your doing hormone, testosterone, is only 10%. That's why a woman always acts in accordance to the emotion that she feels. Remember, she's the opposite to a man. A man does good, then feels good after accomplishing. But the reverse is true for a woman. She must feel good in order to do good. The problem is that no one has taught us about our own femininity. No one has told us that that inner girl needs to be nurtured or how to do it. No one has told us to take care of her first. I don't know about you, but I was told that nice girls don't do that. It's selfish. And it is selfish if you're a man. A man is commanded to love his wife first. That's how he loves himself. Ephesians 5:28. But God never told wives that they love themselves by loving their husbands first. He didn't say that because he created a woman to nurture her own femininity directly. A healed, healthy, feminine woman tends to her own self-care, and she does it first. All of our understanding about our own selves and our womanhood in biblical perspective is coming from masculine leadership instead of feminine mentors, like God says in Titus 2. So we get taught to understand ourselves the way a man naturally understands himself. And because these men don't understand the impact of each gender's specific hormones, they think that masculine understanding is the only way to interpret. Husbands have been choosing to neglect all the femininity that's inside the woman by focusing on her role as a wife. They're sinning against their wives instead of studying the science of femininity to know the inner woman. 1 Peter 3:7. That's why in Christian marriages, we've ended up with the majority of women trying to feel good by doing good. And it's a dismal failure for Christendom. We're trying to function in our femininity the way a man functions in his masculinity, thinking we should get the same results of those feelings. It just doesn't work that way for us. A woman doesn't function in femininity, she embodies it. Males and females both function in testosterone the same way. It's whenever you're doing an activity or accomplishing tasks or problem solving. Testosterone is for things like that, things that involve serving and obligation and duty. Thinking in the masculine mindset is rooted in testosterone. Men have just way more of it than women do. Here's a way to tell if you're locked in a masculine perspective. When I say something like, the reward for work well done is the opportunity to do more. That's Jonas Salk said that. Or Frederick Bachman said, a well done job is a reward in its own right. Those are masculine mindset sayings. They don't parlay into femininity for relationship. Doing a task actually feeds a man's testosterone, especially when it comes to his relationship. Doing a task doesn't feed a woman, it extracts from her. So, if the masculine mindset that's rooted in testosterone is the only operating system that a Christian woman is encouraged to have, in a very real way, what she's forced to do is write checks from a hormonal bank without making regular deposits of cash into that account for herself. Whereas with masculinity, every time he does something, anything, completes a task, produces a result, or provides something, any accomplishment, anything, there's an automatic deposit into himself. He writes the check first, then it's deposited.